My eyes follow the line of her finger up into the foliage above me. At first, I have no idea what she's pointing to, but then, about 15 feet up, I make out the vague shape of a dimming light. But of what? Some kind of animal. It looks like about the size of a raccoon, but it hangs from the bottom of the branch, swaying ever so slightly. There's something else. Among the familiar evening sounds of the woods, my ears register a low hum. Then I know. It's a wasp's nest. Fear shoots through me, but I have enough sense to keep still. After all, I don't know what kind of wasp lives there. It could be an ordinary leave us alone and we'll leave you alone type. But these are the Hunger Games, and ordinary isn't the norm. Most likely they're one of the capital's mutations, chackerjackers. Just like jabberjays, these killer wasps have spawned in a lab and strategically placed, like landmines, around the district during the war. Like the jabberjays, these killer wasps are spawned in a lab and strategically placed, like landmines, around the district during the war. Larger than regular wasps, they have distinctive solid gold body and a sting that raises a lump the size of a plum on contact. Most people can't tolerate more than a few stings. Some die at once. If you live, the hallucinations brought on the venom have actually driven people to madness. And there's another thing. These wasps will hunt down anyone who disturbs their nest and attempts to kill them. That's where the tracker part of the name comes from. After the war, the capital destroyed all the nests surrounding their city, but the ones near the districts were left untouched. Another reminder of our weakness, I suppose. Just like the Hunger Games. Another reason to keep inside fences of District 12. When Gail and I come across a chackerjacker nest, we immediately head in the opposite direction. So, is that what hangs above me? I look back to Rue for help, but she's melted into her tree. Given my circumstances, I guess it doesn't matter what type of wasp nest it is. I'm wounded and trapped. Darkness has given me a brief reprieve, but by the time the sun rises, the couriers would have formulated a plan to kill me. There's no way they could do otherwise after I made them look so stupid. That nest may be the sole option I have left. If I can drop it down on them, I may be able to escape, but I'll risk my life in the process. Of course, I'll never be able to get it close enough to the actual nest to cut it free. I'll have to saw the branch at the trunk and sand the whole thing down. The serrated portion of my knife should be able to manage that. But can my hands, and will the vibration from the sawing raise the swarm? What if the couriers figure out what I'm doing and move their camp? That would defeat the whole purpose. I realize that the best chance I have to do the sawing without drawing notice will be during the anthem. That could be any time. I drag myself out of my bag, make sure my knife is secured in my belt, and begin to make my way up the tree. This in itself is dangerous, since the branches are becoming precariously thin even for me, but I persevere. When I reach the limb that supports the nest, the humming becomes more distinctive, but it's always subdued if they are chackerjackers. It's the smoke, I think. It sedated them. This was one defense the rebels found to battle the wasp. The seal of the capital shines above me and the anthem blazes out. It's now or never, I think, and begin to saw. Blisters burst on my right hand as I awkwardly drag the knife back and forth. Once I got the groove, the work requires less effort, but it's almost more than I can handle. I grit my teeth and saw away, occasionally glancing at the side to register there are no deaths today. That's all right. The audience will be sated back, seeing me injured and treed, and the pack below me. But the anthem's running out, and I'm only 3/4 the way through the woods. Then the music ends. The sky goes dark, and I'm forced to sleep. Now what? I could probably finish the job by sense of feel, but that might not be the smartest plan. If the wasps are too groggy, if the nut catches it's on its way down, if I try to escape, this could all be a deadly waste of time. Better, I think, to sneak up here at dawn and send the nest into my enemies. In the faint light of the courier's torches, I inch back down to my fork and find the best surprise I've ever seen. Sitting on my sleeping bag is a small plastic pot attached to a silver parachute. My first gift from a sponsor. Hamish must have sent it during the anthem. The pot easily fits the palm of my hand. What can it be? Not food, surely. I unscrew the lid and know by the scent that it's medicine. Cautiously, I probe the surface of the ointment. The throbbing in my fingertips vanished. Oh, Hamish, I whispered, thank you. He has not abandoned me, not left me to fend entirely for myself. The cost of his medicine must be astronomical. Probably not one, but many sponsors have contributed to buy this one tiny pot. To me, it's priceless. I dip 2 fingers in the jar and gently spread the balm over my calf. The effect is so magical, erasing me from the pain on contact, leaving a pleasant cooling sensation behind. This is no herbal concoction that my mother grinds up out of woodland plants. It's high-tech medicine brewed up in the capital's labs. When my calf is treated, I rub the thin layer into my hands. After wrapping the pot in the parachute, I nestle it safely away in my pack. Now the pain has eased, it's all I can do to reposition myself in my bag before I plunge into sleep. A bird perched just a few feet away from me alerts that a new day is dawning. It's a gray morning light, and I examine my hands. The medicine has transformed all the angry red patches to a soft baby skin pink. My leg still feels inflamed, but the burn was far deeper. I apply another coat of medicine and quickly pack up my gear. Whatever happens, I'm going to have to move and move fast. I also make myself eat a cracker and a strip of beet and drink a few cups of water. Almost nothing stayed in my stomach yesterday, and I'm already starting to feel the effects of hunger. Below me, I can see the courier pack and Petra sitting asleep on the ground. By her position, I'm leaning against the tree trunk of the tree. I guess Glimmer was supposed to be on guard, but fatigue overcame her. My eyes squint as I try to penetrate the tree next to me, but I can't make out Rue. Since he tipped me off, it only seems fair to warn her. Besides, if I'm going to buy today, it's Rue I want to win. Even if it means a little extra food for my family, the idea of Petra being crowned victor is unbearable. I call Rue's name in the hushed voice, and the eyes appear, wide and alert at once. She points to the nest again. I hold up my knife and makes a sawing motion. She nods and disappears. There's a rustling in a nearby tree, then the same noise again but a bit farther off. I realize she's leaping from tree to tree. It's all I can do to not laugh out loud. Is this what she showed the game makers? I imagine her flying around the training equipment, never touching the floor. She should have gotten at least a 10. Rosy streaks are breaking through the cast east. I can't afford to wait any longer. Compared to the agony of night's climb, this one is a cinch. At the tree limbs that holds the nest, I position the knife in the groove and am about to draw the teeth across the wood when I see something moving. There, on the nest, the bright golden gleam of a tracker jacker lazily making its way across the papery gray surface. No question, it's acting a little subdued, but the wasp is up and moving, and that means the others will be out soon as well. Sweat breaks out on the palm of my hands, beating up the ointment, and I do my best to pat them dry on my shirt. If I don't get this branch in the matter of seconds, the entire swarm could emerge and attack me. There's no sense of putting it off. I take a deep breath, grab the knife handle, and bear it down as hard as I can. Back, forth, back, forth. The tracker jackers begin to buzz, and I hear them coming out. Back, forth, back, forth. A stabbing pain shifts through my knee, and I know one has found me, and the others will be honing in. Back, forth, back, forth. And just as the knife cuts through, I shove the ends of the branch as far away from me as I can. It crashes down through the lower branches, snagging temporarily on a few, then twisting free until it smashes with a thud on the ground. The nest bursts open like an egg, and a furious storm of tracker jackers takes to the air. I feel a second sting on my cheek, a third on my neck, then venom almost immediately makes me woozy. I cling to the tree with one arm as I rip the barbed stringers out of my flesh. Fortunately, only these 3 tracker-jackers have identified me before the nest went down. The 3 of the insects have targeted their enemies on the ground. It's mayhem. The couriers have woken in a full-scale tracker-jacker attack. Peach and a few others have made the sense to drop everything and bolt. I can hear cries of to the lake, and know they hope to evade the waves by taking to the water. It must be close if they think they can outdistance the furious insects. Glimmer and another girl, this one from District 12 F4, are not so lucky. They receive multiple stings before they are even out of my view. Glimmer appears to be completely mad, shrieking and trying to bat the wasp off her bow, which is pointless. She calls to the others for help, but of course no one returns. The girl from District 4 staggers out of sight, although I wouldn't bet on her making it to the lake. I watch Glimmer fall, twitch hysterically on the ground for a few minutes, then go still. The nest is nothing but an empty shell. The wasps have vanished in pursuit of the others. I don't think they'll return, but I don't want to risk it. I scamper down the tree and hit the ground, running in the opposite direction of the lake. The poison from the stingers make me wobbly, but I find my way back to my own little pool and submerge myself in the water, just in case any wasps are still on my trail. After about 5 minutes, I drag myself onto the rocks. People are not exaggerated the effects of the tracker-jacker stings. Actually, the one on my knee is closer to an orange than a plum in size. The foul-smelling green liquid oozes from the places where I pull out the stingers. The swelling, the pain, the ooze. Watching Glimmer twitching to death on the ground is a lot to handle before the sun has even cleared in the horizon. I don't want to think about what Glimmer must look like now, her body disfigured, her swollen fingers stiffening around the bow. The bow. Somewhere in my befuddled mind, one thought connects to another, and I'm on my feet, teetering through the trees in the Glimmer. To Glimmer. The bow. The arrows. I must get them. I haven't heard the cannons fire yet, so perhaps Glimmer is some sort of coma. Her heart is still struggling against the wasp venom. But once it stops and the cannon signals her death, a hovercraft will move it and retrieve her body, taking the only bow and sheath of arrows I see in the games for good. And I refuse to let them slip through my fingers again. Iris Glimmer just as the cannon fires. The tracker-jackers have vanished. This girl, so breathtakingly beautiful in her golden dress that night at the interviews, is unrecognizable. Her features eradicated, her limbs 3 times their normal size. The stinger lumps have begun to explode, spewing putrid green liquid around her. I have to break several of what used to be her fingers with a stone to free the bow. The sheath of arrows is pinned under her back. I try to roll over her body by pulling on one arm, but the flesh disintegrates in my hands and I fall back to the ground. Is this real, or have the hallucinations begun? I squeeze my eyes tight and try to breathe through my mouth, ordering myself not to become sick. Breakfast must stay down. It might be days before I can hunt again. A second cannon fires, and guess the girl from District 4 has just died. I hear the birds fall silent, then one gives a warning call, which means a hovercraft is about to appear. Confused, I think it's for Glimmer, although it doesn't quite make sense because I'm still in the picture, still fighting for the arrows. I lurch back onto my leaves, and trees around me begin to spin in circles. In the middle of the sky, I spot the hovercraft. I throw myself over Glimmer's body as if to protect it, but I see the girl from District 4 being lifted into and vanishing. Do this, I command myself. Clenching my jaw, I dig my hand under Glimmer's body. Getting a hold must be a rib cage. Force her onto her stomach. I can't help it. I'm hyperventilating now. The whole thing is so nightmarish, I'm losing my grasp of Aloud's reel. I tug on the silver sheath of the arrows, but it's caught on something. Her shoulder blade. Something. And finally yank it free. I'm just encircling a sheath around my arms when I hear the footsteps. Several carriers coming through the underbrush, and I realize the carriers have come back. They've come back to kill me or get their weapons or both, but it's too late to run. I pull a slimy arrow from the sheath and try to position itself on the bowstring, but instead of one string, I see 3, and the stench of the strings is so repulsive I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm helpless as the first hunter crashes through the trees, spear lifted, poison to throw. The shock on Petra's face makes no sense to me. I wait for the blow. Instead, his arm drops to his side. What are you still doing here? He hisses at me. I stared incomprehensibly at the tinkle of water drops off a string under his ear. His whole body started sparkling as if been dipped in dew. Are you mad? He prodding with the shaft of spear now. Get up, get up. I rise, but he's still pushing at me. What? What's going on? He's shoving me away hard. Run, he screams, run. Behind him, Cato slashes his way through the brush. He's sparkling wet too, badly stung under one eye. I catch the gleam of sunlight on his sword and do as Petra says, holding tightly to my bow and arrows, banging into trees that appear out of nowhere, tripping and falling as I try to keep my balance. Back past my pool, under the unfamiliar woods, the world begins to bend in alarming ways. The butterfly balloons to the size of a house, then shatters into a million stars. The trees transform into blood and splash down over my boots. Ants begin to crawl out of the blisters on my hands, and I can't shake them free. They're climbing on my neck, on my arms. Someone's screaming, a long, high-pitched scream that breaks for life. I have a vague idea that it might be me. I trip and fall into a small pit lined with tiny orange bubbles that hum like Tracker Jacker's nest. Tucking my knees up to my chin, I wait for death. Stunned and disoriented, I'm able to form one thought. Peter Mailer just saved my life. Then the ants bore into my eyes and I black out.